All right. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and today we had a pretty special day, I think. If you look at this candle here, this looks like a reversal candle to me. I'll let you know in a couple of weeks. Anyway, welcome to my daily review. I just want to take a look at the Nasdaq here closely. As you can see, it undercut the low of last week and then rallied higher. It closed right at its 50 simple moving average there, 13,783. And so that's why I say I'll let you know, later on if that's a reversal candle, but it does look similar to the candle that we saw on March 13th here, where it undercut the prior low and then rallied back. But this one closed 1.5% below the 50. Today it closed right at the 50. Of course, after on March 13th, a couple sessions it traded above and rallied higher. So that's what we're looking for right now. Today it just rallied up to the 50. So the next couple sessions, maybe it trades sideways along with it. By the end of the week, we want to see it a strong move above it. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday. How about that? Now, I don't predict anything. And just pointing it out here, that looks like a reversal candle to me. We've had a nice little pullback. I know some people think that this is just a bear market rally, and we're going to retest these October lows. And it's been my experience that when a new uptrend starts, these stocks don't just rally for 3 months and then die. And that's my thesis, is that the AI has started a new uptrend. So I'm going to stay with that, and until the information changes, and I'll change my mind. That's part of being flexible. But anyway, I do believe that we are in an AI-led uptrend here, and these stocks are not just going to go away. We saw a rotation back into the AI stocks today, semiconductors, and Amazon. I'm going to talk first about the Magnificent Seven, because Amazon's certainly the strongest of those 7 stocks. This one didn't even pull back to its 10, and today was up another couple of bucks. Just one of the stronger stocks of those Magnificent Seven. Meta and Google are the others that are above the 50 here. Meta here is still struggling right at the 21, and Google, it looks a little better than Meta here, as it's above it's 1.2% above the 10. So Google and Amazon are the better looking of these 7. NVDA today rallied back above its 50, so it's back in the good graces. And one of the 4 stocks of the 7 that are trading above their 50 simple moving average. Just trying to keep it simple here. Tesla, this looks terrible. Sliced its 50, heading lower today, so no momentum there. Apple, it's sold off after its earnings, and now trying to stabilize before it can. They got to stop going down before they can go up. So Apple and Microsoft the same. So those are your 7 that move the index. Microsoft was up slightly today, but still you could see pretty nasty sell-off from 360. What is that, 366 to 324 after earnings. So keeping my eye on them, because that's what moves the index, but I don't really traffic in those too much, although I am interested in NVIDIA. I did mention some of the semiconductors were strong today, but still, AMD just rallied up to its moving average here. That looks dangerous to me, but it's got to rally through all of them here. And you can see that the 10 and the 21 are below the 50, so that looks pretty gruesome there. It does not look good. MRVL is one that had a decent day today, but just forming a base here. AEHR, another one, traded down to its 50, and hopefully finds support and starts bouncing here. ACLS is another one that sold off recently below the 50. So today we saw a rotation into some beaten up semiconductors and beaten up AI names. They sold off a lot recently because that's where the profits were. And today they got a little bounce as money flowed into those stocks today. I want to take a look at some of the retail stocks, though, because some of the retail looks pretty good to me. This is ELF, and this is pretty consistent with what it does. Gaps higher, forms these little shelves here. This one's quite a bit above its 10 EMA, 3.7%. above the 10, so showing incredible strength here. What pullback, right? As the index pulls back, ELF just keeps trading higher, and that's a That's a beautiful thing. That is a stock, you want to hold. Just pull back to its 50 a couple times this year. Got a couple of those on our leading stock list. CELH looks like it wants to change character here. You could see it just trade sideways and went up and then kind of traded sideways and gapped up, then traded sideways. Now, last week it gapped higher in earnings, and it's showing strength. It's flexing its muscle, closed at 183 today, and that's a big gap from the 146.59. So perhaps this one wants to just ramp higher and trend like ELF, or Builder, or a couple other of these trending stocks. This is Lululemon. It's just on our watch list because it's trading sideways. I don't think it's going to do much until it gets this catalyst here on the 31st. It's just kind of trading sideways. It's not. It looks good. I mean, you could see this big base, big sell off. It was trading sloppy, and now it's tightening up. So I like the tight pattern above the moving averages within a base. So that looks pretty good to me. But I'm not expecting, some big gigantic, 10% move until it gets a, new data point. Speaking of new data points, ONON on holdings reports tomorrow morning. I have no idea how this is going to react. I would imagine they would have good sales and growth, and I'm hoping for a move like Celsius, but we'll see. And it could spark a rally in the shoes. Skechers is one that I'm watching. This one pulled back to its 50 today, but you can see it's trading within a base, and it could get be a catalyst from some pen action from the on holding catalyst, and also Dick's Sporting Goods. This one traded down to its 21 on Friday, had a nice 3% bounce today, still consolidating within a base though. So that looks pretty good. As the Nasdaq sold off, this thing's just kind of marking time and trading sideways. So keeping an eye on that one. I did mention some of the AI stocks, and I don't believe that, an AI theme was just going to go away. It's just not, I don't believe that. Anyway, this one traded down to its 10. First of all, gapped higher on earnings, traded down to its 10 and found support today and had a nice 3% bounce. Just a real strong stock. And yeah, one that I really like. AI, I did mention AI because AI is AI, right? Artificial intelligence. They try to mention it as much often as they can in all of their conference calls. This one did sell off with the Nasdaq. It pulled back well below its 50. It's a real volatile stock. Tough one to hold. My heart does not like stocks like that. I try not to traffic in something that is so volatile. Palantir is a little more tame, even though it sold off after earnings and it's below its 50. I'm looking for this one to rally back through here. We'll see, keeping an eye on it. SMCI, this one had insider buying Friday, of last week. It was announced that one of their directors bought 4,000 shares, I believe, after this big sell-off. So insiders, have a pretty good idea of what their business is like. So when they buy, they only buy for one reason. They think their stock is undervalued and is going higher. So you got to take note of insider buying. And this one was up nearly 6% today. It traded up to its 50. This looks ominous though, right? A stock, trading up to its 50, probably going to get the Matambo treatment there and trade back down and just take a little while to form a base. It does have that 270, area where it was the high in the flag here. So that is an area of interest for sure, which I had a prior buy point on that flag, and it's right there. You can see that. So I'm keeping an eye on SMCI. I sold it, I sold. I don't have to keep telling you. I'm out of it, but I am interested in adding that one because it could be could get a catalyst from NVIDIA earnings next week. Anyway, speaking of insider buying, TGTX, which is one that I have not talked about, but I want to talk about the drugs once again. They had their CEO bought 100,000 shares. Yeah, 100,000 shares at $10.17 or something. So this stock also has a heavy short interest, and it looks like it cleared some of them out today, but this thing is sold off miserably. It was up 9.5% on the news of an insider buy. The one drug stock that is just flexing is Lilly. after their earnings. You can see the breakout from this base, which is a late stage base. You can see stage 4, but this thing is just ramping higher. It looks like it just wants to go higher. After the earnings, it had an inside day, then it had a double inside day, and on Friday it traded higher, and then today made an all-time high, which is saying something. Kind of a little dichotomy from that is NVO, which had very powerful earnings, and this stock gapped up and has sold off 4 days in a row with volume, which I find a little strange. These earnings reactions are really strange. This has a long way to go to fill that gap, but it is pulling back near a buy point there at 172, so that does interest me. If this stock wants to catch up with its or trade down and allow the 10 EMA to catch up, that would interest me as well. Novo is just they have a real huge demand for their products, and their problem is filling the demand. Much like Lilly, and much like NVIDIA too. So I guess that's it for the drugs. I'm going to move on to the heavy construction, the builders, home builders. I'm just going to lump them all together because this is part of the IRA, the infrastructure and the Inflation Reduction Act, and the government's spending a ton of money, and these stocks are benefiting from it. This is builder. This is just, if you look at the weekly from the COVID low here of $9. This thing has done nothing but go higher, and just quietly. There was $9 in March of 2020, and just a base, 3 weeks tied, a base. Just a fantastic stock to hold. And if you look at the daily chart, it pulls back to the 50 every now and then. The last real buy point was here at the ascending base, but sometimes you just got to jump in when it pulls back to the 21. I mean, you guys can do what you want, but that's what I do with builder. It's one of my top stocks, if not my top stock, that one, an ELF and Celsius. So yeah, builders looks fantastic to me. Some of the other home builder stocks, before I move on to the heavy construction stocks, this is a Pulte, bounced off the 21. I know a lot of you folks like to buy when they come down to the 21, which I believe is a good strategy. Hold on a second, Charlie. Hello. So I mentioned that, and because people DM me all the time on Twitter and say, this one's pulling back to its 21, I'm pulling the trigger, it's pulling back to 21, it's pulling back to 21, I'm pulling the trigger every time, and it just keeps going higher. So that looks like a sound strategy to me. Like I say, you're all big boys and girls, and you all have your mouses, and you're going to click away like wild banshees. So you do what you got to do, but that's definitely a pattern there with Pulte Homes. This is Toll Brothers, another, this one's been trading sideways, but, finding support at the 21. That's what you want to see. Power, Quanta Services here. Another one pulled back to the 21 and bounced a little bit today. These stocks are showing strength. This is Sterling. This one gapped higher in earnings and just had a mighty sell-off today of 65 cents. And if you look at the weekly, this one looks like it's setting up for a short stroke pattern, as it was up last week, and then today, like I said, it had a massive sell-off of 65 cents. Yeah, it was up 32% last week and gave back not even 1% today. So definitely watching that one. KNF, this is my IPO stock of the day. This one looks good to me. I mean, it pulled back a little bit. 7 cents today? Big move, huh? But yeah, it looks like another short stroke pattern of shaping up here. So definitely these are the ones to watch as money rotates from sector to sector on a daily basis. It's really hard to keep up with, really. But that one is showing strength. And AZEK, this one, broke out of a base. This is AZEK Construction Products. They have that I don't want to say fake wood. They have their own material that is used to build decks and things like that. But you can see it broke out of a base, just trending higher. It's been up the last 4 sessions in a row, and you can see it on the weekly. The more pronounced, consolidation there of like 19 weeks, and now it's broken out of that base. That one looks good. So the builders, don't shy away from them. I wanted to talk a little bit about the software today because software's got hammered in this pullback. And this is Monday, and you can see how it's sliced its 50. They reported earnings today, ran up to the 50 and kind of pulled back a little bit, and it closed 1.7% below it, but a nice 8% move. And I like that move. Of course, after earnings, you got to wait till earnings are out of the way. And Atlassian Team, this is another one. You got to look at the weekly on this. And you can see this consolidation period here, 16 weeks, and another consolidation, like a base on base pattern of 6 weeks. So it's like 22 weeks of just kind of consolidating. And now it's, it's up 1% today, but trying to move out of this base area here. So, this is all while the Nasdaq was pulling back here from July 19th. And so it pulled back below its 50 and ran higher. So to me, that one looks good. And then MDB is another one, a software stock that sliced its 50, now had a nice little 2% move today, and maybe this one's tired of going down and wants to run higher. So it's definitely another software stock. And anyway, that's it for me, except for one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have to mention X, and I don't mean the Twitter app X. I mean the U.S. Steel, and U.S. Steel was rumored, I can't believe this, to be bought out by maybe a private equity, maybe Cleveland Cliffs. They rejected Cleveland Cliffs' offer, but this thing moved 36%. It's hard for me to imagine U.S. Steel, one of the, stalwart companies forever. The U.S. Steel has been around forever. It hasn't gone anywhere. As you can see, this is 25 years, but just a stalwart stock, and going to be sold, I guess. They're going to sell perhaps to private equity or perhaps to Cleveland Cliffs. But when you get news like that, there's pen action. I mentioned in this morning's report, you get pen action in the other stocks, and Cleveland Cliffs here ramped nearly 9% on massive volume on the news. It's still trading below the 50, but that's a heck of a move. That's some pen action right there. Nucor, which pulled back to its 21 and bounced here, 3.3% today, just on the news that X is up for sale and going to be taken over, I guess. It's hard for me to believe. Steel Dynamics is another one that traded down to its below its 50 and rallied through all of its moving averages today, up more than 5% on nice volume. And that's some good pin action. That's what you look for when you see a report like that. It might be a buyout, or it might be, an earnings report like we saw from Monday today, and it sparks a rally in neighboring stocks. Stocks travel in packs like dogs. So that's what I look for when I hear that news. Not exactly X. I wasn't buying X, but I would look around at other stocks in that group. Anyway, that's it for today, and we never give up.